What's good, y'all? We back. We got another interview. It's your boy Ant Goods with Swish Cultures, and I'm here with my man Ronaldo Segu. He's a young vet. He ain't a vet yet. He's still young, but yeah, he's over there making some waves out in Germany this year, man. But what's happening
And I'm chilling, can't complain. Taking it day by day.
out there freezing in Germany, ain't it?
Facts. The weather getting a little better, but it's cold though. It's cold for sure.
Yeah, nah. I'm sure you probably used to it, from your college days and
Yeah,
whatnot. But
went to Buffalo, upstate.
yeah, exactly. So you already know what time it is, man. But yeah, nah, real. What I really wanted to talk to you about, man, is obviously over the last couple of years you've been having success in Europe. But one thing everybody can see and what you've kind of been known for is your hesitation move. So talk to me about like how this came about, when you started doing it, and then kind of get into the specifics of how you're able to make it successful.
um, it really started when I was young. Like I was going up to the YMCA, had my mom drop me off, and I was just playing around, just like dribbling on the court, and just doing dribbling drills. And I was training with this one trainer at the time. His name was Brad, and he had me doing like side steps to to like get away from defenders. And I kind of was just playing around doing it. And then as the like years went on and as time went on, I started doing it in the game, and I just started noticing like people just jumping like mad high. And then I'm like, damn, let me keep doing this. And then I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then I end up, being on home team hoops. And then it kind of just took off from there, and then like that's how the Hesi move came about. And then it just really kind of blew up from the end of my eighth grade year going on to my freshman year. That's when the transition, like it kind of just blew up. Just, oh, this man, he doing this move, and it's just having people jumping. And then I just kind of took off with it.
Yeah, nah, I think one thing, especially in Europe, I feel like the defenders aren't as used to like defending, savvy ball handlers like in Europe as they are in the States, because obviously we come across like a bunch of them. So, I've just been noticing, since you've been in Europe, you've been catching a lot of guys off guard with it. So how has it been like? Transitioning and using this move in the program, do you feel like it works more here, or do you feel like it was more effective in the States, but with the difference in style of play and stuff like that? How do you feel like it is here in
Um,
Europe?
I kind of in Europe, I feel like it's just more like drastic, like how people reacting to the move when I do it is just like crazier, like you feel me. But like when I was in college, I was doing it, but it was just more so just to get to my spot. Like people would kind of know like stay down, stay down. But like here, especially where I had started, like in Greece, it's just like they ain't never seen it before. Like I think at that rate, and I was doing it off both hands. Like I think I could do it off both hands. So it was just like, okay. And then it was like, if you back up, I'm just going to shoot the midi. So it was just like, you had to really kind of pick your poison. But I think in Europe, it's just like, just way more dramatic. Like the defenders just like jumping, like dummy hot. Like I could just see them just going up. And I'm just like, okay, bye. You feel me? So I just think it's just more dramatic in Europe. But I think it worked pretty efficiently anywhere I go.
Right. And is it a field thing for you, or how do you pick when you want to use the hezi?
I ain't gonna lie. It's more so of a feel. Like it's like I just like reading the time of the shot clock, time and situations to where I feel like the defender is like really like, like dancing, like it's kind of on their heels, especially I do it with a lot of bigs as known, switches and stuff like that. So I think it's more so of a feel, like feeling the defender and then like awareness of like the shot clock, I'll say.
Right, right. And if you were, so let's just say a kid just trying to learn how to handle the ball, like how would you teach somebody to do the hezi?
Um, Man, the way I created it, I was just in the gym dribbling. I used to be in the gym just dribbling a lot, doing a lot of dribbling drills, trying to just do moves, dribbling up and down the court, just doing moves, like imagining it, like visualizing it. I ain't really was the one to just be in there just like doing like 2 pounds. Like I was just kind of like freestyling, like just going up. I had music in, kind of like dancing a little bit, So that's kind of like how I like got my handles, Like, so I don't know if that's like the formal way, but like that's just how I got my handles, just being just dancing and freestyling and reacting off of stuff more than just like being there just pounding and all high. Like, yeah, I never really was into that. I just was kind of going in the gym, just trying stuff, stuff like that. But that's why I just tell a young kid is just to go in there, and just dribble, like visualizing yourself doing the move, going up and down the court, shooting. Because at that time I ain't really had no trainer, so I was just going down, just doing a bunch of drills, shooting it up, So I was just trying to do the best with what I had. You feel me? So I
Right.
tell them to use their imagination a lot. That's what I did.
And I think too, just always having that hesitation, move in your bag. Like I feel like it kind of gets you out of it can get you out of a lot of situations, whether you at like a standstill with a big, because a lot of times I feel like in isolation, a lot of guys like we trying to find an angle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like sometimes you got to find an angle with the cross, or if you're coming off a pick and roll, sometimes it'll just make itself available like that. But sometimes I think when somebody's playing you square and we both flat footed, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's hard to find that angle, but I think if you can obviously get him out of his seat or get him to raise up,
Yeah.
you're gonna create it. But like what so as you're coming off, and let's just say you're in that isolation situation, like what are your reads in regards to not even just with the Hesi move, but like what are your reads in regards to attacking on an isolation?
Honestly, I just try to get them to open up just a little bit, cause like the way I play, I'm kind of like slithery, so like I'm not a big frame, so I just trying to get you just to bite just a little bit on any move I do. Like, just if I see, just try to get you to open up, and I just try to get my shoulder low as possible, and just like get straight through that angle, like that angle for me. So like with me is just trying to get you to bite just a little bit. I just need a split second, and if I see that, I'm gonna just try to, get right through there, and I just try to use my angles too, and like try to like dribble them into the spot that I need them to be in, and then make my move from there. But most of the time, I'm just trying to create an advantage, And the biggest thing I'm learning too in Europe is just like my change of speed, because I was just so used to playing at one speed. So now I'm kind of getting better at, stop and go a little bit. So just learning that by watching players. So I'm just trying to get them to open up just a little bit so I can get to my spot.
I feel that. And if you could go back in time with everything you've learned up to this point, go back in time to your very first day overseas, what would you have told yourself to have, even more success?
Patience. You come out of school, especially, college, you don't know. Like for me, I speak for myself. Like I was coming out, I had another year. I ain't want to do another year. I ain't like school. I ain't gonna lie. I just took my degree and moved on, and I was just ready to be a pro. At the time, no matter what had happened, whether I was gonna be in the NBA G League or overseas, I was just ready to make that next step. So, um, but at the same time, I just was impatient, and I had I wasn't realistic at the time, and I ain't know like what was what, so and I had to just reel myself in and kind of humble myself and realize that, man, I got to start from ground zero, like, you know and just work my way up, and know that like that you gonna work your way up, and just have to be okay with that, starting from ground zero. And it's not like if you ain't the number one pick, you just ain't gonna just it's just not gonna be given to you. You got to work even harder, just especially as a small guard. So I had to just come to realization, be patient, and and just stop watching others and just run my own race type deal. I think that's what I would have told myself at a younger age, to know that, just to keep those things in your head so you can have positive success.
And what would you have told yourself in regards to being on the court and playing like the European game? What would you have told yourself on that?
What I would tell myself, like my rookie year, is to like play defense. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I just started now picking up 94 feet, knowing how important that is. I did it in college, but you get to the pros. I started off at second division, so I kind of treating it for granted instead of like actually trying to work on the European game and fully understanding, what like how do they play over here. I think what else I would have told myself is to watch the European game more. You know, I wasn't watching it. I was just coming in, practicing, working out, going home. Ain't really in tune with your league or a Champions League or Euro Cup. I wasn't really in tune at that time. So like at that time, I would actually try to watch like top European point guards. That's what I would tell like a young incoming like rookie guard, that's coming in their first years to like watch all those European savvy guards and their mindset, how they change their pace because they not physically as talented as us or like maybe as fast, but they real smart and cerebral, to get to where they need to get to. So I kind of would have told myself that.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I feel like that's one thing I wish I would have done too, especially earlier in my career was just and then it was a different time. We didn't have access to as many games, but just watching, more European basketball, man,
Right.
because I think that's where, you really start to pick up little things and then obviously some guys we're all a little delusional in regards to how confident we are, but
Yeah.
you also have to be real with yourself like okay, like he does this better than me, so like maybe I need to start doing more of that, you know what
Right.
I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah, I think
Yeah. Yeah.
watching hoop is important, bro.
Uh, That's a fact.
Yeah.
I gained a lot of knowledge, like just watching them. Just little stuff that they do. How they come off point guards. I say point guards. How they come off pick and rolls. How they read it. How they just they can just control the game just off of just like their eyes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I just learned that. And that's just probably the biggest thing I done learned as far as
Yeah.
being a point guard and watching the European game.
Right.
It's still
And
learning.
yeah, you still learning, you still young. You still
Yeah.
young climbing that ladder, man. But yeah, one thing I wanted to talk to you about was so like now obviously we're in the NIL era and that's kind of like, there's a lot of changes coming in the NCAA and dictating a lot of moves. We see a lot of movement in college. But what was it like for you going from, the playing Division I college, getting NIL, and then what were your expectations coming overseas, and what was some of like the harsh realities of leaving that NIL world and then coming over to overseas?
What's crazy? I went mid major, so it wasn't even a lot of too much money with the NIL, but that they're getting compared to now, and I really caught like the back end of it, like the starting of NIL, but on the back end of my college career. So I didn't really just touch too much, checking out with the college thing, but um, I would say like, man, save your coin, especially if you coming over here. I don't think the market gonna change too much of where you gonna start in your career and where you want to get to. So the best thing I would say is that like save them pennies as you can in college, and don't take it for granted at all because it's guys over here that's playing for way less and playing harder in tough situations and that's trying to make their way up. So I'll say like, man, what I would have did, what I did was just try to save my money as much as possible with that college NIL. For real, honestly.
Yeah, now I talked to a bunch of my friends that's like coaching in college and whatnot, and they say they say that like a lot of their players just think like, oh, I'm gonna just go overseas if I don't get in the league. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna just get there, and it's just like, yo, like it ain't that simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? It
that
ain't but so
sweet.
many spots.
Yeah, it ain't that sweet, and then, like you just can't just come over here and like, and that's what I had to learn too myself. Like, I think I'm finna come over here and and just do big things, not knowing that like it's a whole different ball game over here. And not to say that you can't get there, but it ain't that sweet. You know what I mean? As much as people come over here, you see it, and you see it all the time. Guys come over here and see it ain't sweet. They fall off. Some fall off, some keep going. And you see it all the time. So like, I just be like, it ain't that sweet. You just ain't gonna just get any job you want. Especially for me, I had just came off playing summer league with Memphis. And I did decent for the time I played. So I'm just thinking I was gonna get something good. Nah, but buddy, go back to second division, work your way up.
Right.
you know. So like that's what you got to do sometimes. Start from zero, put your head down, keep grinding. There's better days to come.
Yeah, I feel like most rookies, I think when they think about like, oh, I gotta go overseas, they think, oh, I'm gonna be in like Barcelona, I'm gonna be in
Yeah,
Paris,
for
and it's
sure.
like,
Like,
nah, bruh.
nah, we going to Tachik. I was in Serbia. A town of maybe 2, 3 thousand. No McDonald's. You eating soup and noodles every night. You might not got no Wi-Fi. Like, I ain't had a haircut all year. Shout out to my boy KP who's playing for Partizan. He got me one haircut for 10 months. I was there like it's rough. like like you ain't finna be in just start off lavish, you gotta work your way up for sure. That's something I had to learn.
Yeah, nah. Well, once you get up to the top, man, you're gonna look back on these days like a lot of them other guys, KP and all them other
Yeah,
guys, man. They all had days where they had to grind and shit wasn't as sweet as it is now. So,
facts.
you writing your own story, man, and you still ascending. So, but I appreciate you stopping by, man, and dropping some game on us, man. We're gonna continue to tap in and whatnot.
Yes,
But
sir.
nah, good luck, man, with the upcoming games and everything else.
Appreciate it for sure. Thank you for having me.